They say love is about balance, giving and taking, supporting and being supported. But for a while, it felt like I was the only one giving. My name's Ethan, and for 5 years, I thought my marriage to Lila was solid. Until one sentence changed everything. It started on a Saturday morning. I'd been working long hours lately, deadlines, overtime, trying to save for a house. Lila had been home more, saying her new job was stressful and she needed to unwind. That morning, I came down to a kitchen piled with dishes, laundry scattered across the couch, and a sink full of half-finished mugs. "Hey," I said gently, "do you think you could help me clean up a bit before we go out later?" She didn't even look up from her phone. "Ethan, I'm not your maid." The words hit harder than I expected. I wasn't angry, just stunned. "I didn't mean it like that," I said. "I'm asking for teamwork, not service." She rolled her eyes. "You're overreacting. I do plenty around here. You just don't notice." Maybe she was right. Maybe I hadn't noticed. But lately, everything felt one-sided, like our marriage was a list of what she wouldn't do instead of what we could do together. That week, things got colder. We stopped eating together. We stopped laughing. We just existed under the same roof, like strangers waiting for the other to speak first. Then, one evening, she came home late and sighed dramatically. "Ethan, I need space. I feel like you depend on me for everything. Maybe you should learn to handle things on your own." That one stung. But I nodded. "All right. Space it is." She looked surprised, maybe expecting a fight. But there wasn't one. Because something inside me had quietly shifted. The next morning, I woke up early. I made my own breakfast, did the dishes, vacuumed, folded laundry, and started reorganizing the storage room. When she walked into the kitchen, she froze. "Wow," she said flatly. "Look at you, Mr. Independent." I smiled politely. "Guess I'm learning." She shrugged and left for work. But that day, I realized something important. I could live without her, and not out of pride, but peace. I started cooking full meals, jogging in the evenings, reconnecting with friends I'd lost touch with. The house grew cleaner, quieter, and somehow lighter. Days turned into weeks. Then one night, she came home to find me reading on the couch with dinner already eaten and the kitchen spotless. "Did you even wait for me?" she asked. "I didn't know if you'd be home," I replied calmly. She frowned. "You used to text me when dinner was ready." I looked up. "You said you needed space. I gave it to you." For the first time in weeks, she didn't have a comeback. A few days later, I found her in the living room staring at an old photo, our honeymoon, laughing by the ocean. She turned the frame around when I walked in. "Ethan," she said quietly, "have you stopped caring?" I thought about it. No. I just stopped chasing. She bit her lip. "You really don't need me anymore, do you?" I hesitated. "I want a partner, Lila, not someone who feels burdened by being one." Her eyes softened. Maybe I forgot how to be that. For the first time in a long while, she seemed real, not defensive, not sarcastic, just human. The next weekend, she joined me in the kitchen without me asking. "I'll chop the vegetables," she said. I smiled. "Sure. I'll handle the sauce." We cooked quietly, like two people relearning a language they once spoke fluently. When we sat down to eat, she whispered, "I'm sorry for saying I'm not your maid. I took you for granted." I nodded. I did too. I stopped appreciating what you did do. We didn't fix everything that night, but something cracked open. Something honest. Months later, our marriage isn't perfect, but it's real again. We share chores, meals, silence. We talk more and assume less. Sometimes Lila jokes about that morning. "Remember when I said I'm not your maid?" I grin. "Yeah, and I proved I could live without one." She laughs, shaking her head. "Guess it worked. I came back as your wife instead." People think love ends with shouting, slammed doors, or grand betrayals. But sometimes it ends quietly, in resentment, in laziness, in forgetting that respect keeps love alive. And if you're lucky, you realize it early enough to rebuild. I didn't prove I could live without her to hurt her. I proved it so we both could learn how to live with each other. Better, stronger, equal.